Okay, hello again, everybody. Richie Prior. I am on the beautiful island of Mallorca, as I always am. Lucky for me. And today I'm talking to a young man by the name of Ben Saunders. First of all, Ben, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Where are you? Where are we talking to you today? Where are you?
Right now I am based in Javia, which is just outside of Denia, which is the closest place to get back to Mallorca. But that's where I am right now, just off the mainland.
Okay, so all of us today, or particularly me and you listening out there, are going to get a lesson in social media today. Me of a certain age will have some sort of idea of what goes on out there in social media land. But of the sort of the last few years or so, a lot of things have changed, and new things have come out, and particularly for the younger people out there, social media has become a big, massive thing, and this is why we decided to speak to Ben. Because he seems to know a lot more than most, and he's doing some quite exciting things actually. So looking forward to having a chat today. First of all, Ben, where are you from originally?
I am from the UK. I border on Surrey and Hampshire. So I'm a place called Fleet, which is sort of near. It's between London and Southampton. So southeast.
Yeah. Fleet, anybody that's driven on the motorway will know Fleet Services, I imagine.
Of course, yeah.
Okay. And you've come to Mallorca, you've been to Mallorca. How did Mallorca fit into all this?
Okay, so basically, my mum grew up in Spain, so it's sort of always been a sort of thing in our family, like mainland Spain, Mallorca, and all this. And I made the personal choice after I did my GCSEs to move out. So I've been in Spain since I was 17, been in Mallorca since I was 17.
Okay.
I did my A-levels over here. I did some school and made a lot of friends. And now my whole life is basically Mallorca, even though I'm not there currently. My heart and soul is still there, and I'm back a lot of the time. So yeah.
And you speak fluent Spanish?
More or less, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've been quite lazy with it. But I understand it. I know enough to get by. My friends that have lived on the island for around 15 years or so will tell you I'm rubbish. But to a standard English person, I probably come across as fluent, yeah.
So we got you on today because we wanted to talk about social media and social media influencing and how it all works. If you could just give everybody out there a quick history lesson. Facebook started in 2004. Twitter started in 2006. Instagram started in 2010. And the big new thing out there, particularly for the younger people, is something called TikTok, which started in 2016. So let's start. Have you ever involved yourself, Ben, in Facebook or Twitter, or is that just for us old people out there?
No, I definitely have. I mean, I've had a Twitter account since I was probably about 12, 13 years old. I was probably too young to be using it, to be honest, but I don't use it that much anymore. Same as Facebook. I had a Facebook page. I used to make comedy skits and stuff like that. But it seems that Facebook, used to sort of be for the kids, and now the older generation seem to utilize it a lot more. But it's still it's still a great platform to, if you're a content creator, it's great to monetize on. It's great for sharing and stuff like that. But every platform sort of has its own things about it, you know. But yeah.
I think for the younger generation, though, they're sort of old hat. Therefore, as I say, therefore, people more my age to use right now. You guys, I think I'm probably right in saying that, you know, TikTok and Instagram is fast moving, it's quick, it's pacey, it's what you guys seem to enjoy. I know I've got two sons who are well into both Instagram and TikTok as well. So where did it first start for you? How did you get involved in all this?
Well, I mean, firstly, just to add on to what you just said, I think with Facebook and stuff, Facebook is good for the older generation, because I see it a lot. Like, I'm part of like the Mallorca group. I have a question and things like this. Facebook is more of a community to learn and sort of share knowledge and sort of that root of what social networking was originally. And TikTok and some of the newer apps are more sort of instant gratification in terms of entertainment and things like that, and videos and all of that. But yeah, so for me, it started a long time ago. I started doing YouTube back in probably 2013. so I must have been about 12 years old or whatever. I was inspired to be like these other content creators I was watching and stuff like that. And through that, I learned the skill of like video editing, how to speak properly. I was a very quiet, shy boy when I first started. So I've sort of learned how to speak in front of a crowd and how to sort of be heard, basically. And TikTok, I mean, TikTok used to be an app called Musical.ly, which kind of had its day probably about 3-4 years ago, and that was bought by a company. It changed into TikTok, and the whole sort of way it worked changed completely. Musical.ly was very sort of music based, and it's just in terms of like the algorithm, the way you grow on it, it was very different to what TikTok is now. But so I did YouTube for a long time, so I've sort of always understood this sort of social media space, and I've had friends, influencers and whatnot. But with TikTok is like something I've never seen before in terms of it's got insane organic reach, which basically means, from my point of view, you can make a video, and if it deserves to go viral, then it absolutely will. A lot of the time with these other platforms, YouTube and stuff, it's luck, it's timing and all this. And yes, that does also account for TikTok, but it seems to have this very complex algorithm that no one understands, but it just seems that if you have a message that needs to be heard, it will get heard. So yeah, I favorite it for that reason.
So for the uninitiated amongst us, although I do profess to have a little bit of knowledge about this, Instagram is more your photos, sharing photos amongst users, friends, whatever you want to be. You can put a video onto Instagram, but I think I'm right in saying it's only can last about 59 seconds or maybe a little bit long. I do think they give you a little bit of leeway, don't you, on this? And then on the opposite side, TikTok is video sharing.
Yeah, completely. I mean, Instagram are trying to catch up. I think, Instagram is owned by Facebook. I think Facebook are trying to, as a company, trying to dominate everything gradually. But Instagram is a very, very strong platform and has, like I said, like every platform has its own thing. For TikTok, it's the exposure. For Instagram, exposure and organic reach are actually quite terrible. But Instagram is very strong in terms of community. But yeah, originally it was just a photo sharing app. Now you can publish video. It used to be 59 seconds, and they've introduced something called IGTV, where you can upload videos. I think potentially even up to an hour or so. Longer form content, which obviously gives people that were posting on Facebook and stuff like that another platform to post longer form content. But Instagram they've introduced something called Instagram Reels, which is an immediate spin-off of TikTok. I think they're just trying to replicate what TikTok have done, and it seems to be going okay. I think TikTok still have their ways about them and their secrets that they'll never reveal on how they do stuff and how it's so popular. But Instagram have released a new feature recently, called Reels, which is very similar to TikTok. And Instagram will also have Stories, which was taken from Snapchat. I think they tried to buy Snapchat a few years ago. Snapchat said no, so then they just did it themselves. But yeah, Instagram has a lot of features. I think they're introducing a marketplace, which has come up on my phone. Some of my friends are still waiting on it. I haven't even looked into it, but I think you're going to be able to buy and sell stuff through Instagram now as well. So it's forever expanding.
Yeah, and I think also this is down to you as a person or whatever, particularly if you're an influencer, the idea is to build up followers. And the more followers you get, obviously, the bigger influence you become. And then I imagine that companies start to look to you to monetize for them. Would that be correct?
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it works. The best way I describe it is it's when people say, so how do you make money? I say to them, I'll be like, well, you know how a company will pay to put an advertisement on a bus stop? And they'll go, yeah. I'll go, well, I'm the bus stop. Is basically sort of how it is. Yeah, I think the main goal is to build up a following and enough influence that you get brands, you get companies, they come to you and they want you to promote their products because you have an influence and you have fans and people respect your judgment, and you have such a platform and you reach such a demographic that you can do a lot more with social media influencers than you can do with just sort of mainstream advertising. A lot of companies actually are starting to focus on what we call micro influencers a lot more as well, rather than just the bigger people with 2-3 million followers, because the budget they'd pay for someone with millions of followers, they can spread out amongst smaller people who will each have their own sort of unique type of audience. So it's just reaching that target market a lot more. But
Right.
yeah, no, that's definitely what's going on.
Okay, so let's talk about you then. Where do we want to go first? TikTok or Instagram with you? Where did it first start with you? Was it Instagram first, then TikTok?
I mean, I've had an Instagram account longer, but I say TikTok is sort of where it properly took off. So yeah, we can discuss TikTok.
Well, I do have a TikTok account. I profess, Ben, that your 250,000 followers make my 15 being fairly insignificant. Yeah, of a man of a certain age that doesn't know what he's doing on TikTok whatsoever. But I had to look at a few of your videos. Now, I noticed one, and I think it was about Mallorca actually, had 500,000 views.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty good going, isn't it?
Yeah. No, thanks. Yeah, that's quite a lot. I mean, I've had some that have reached up to like 3 million or so.
Really? I didn't go that far back there. I should have gone further, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, that's very impressive numbers. I mean, that's huge in the social media world right now, isn't it?
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. It's it's crazy. You can't really comprehend what it is, because with me, the way it sort of started is basically I created my TikTok account about a year ago, and I started off doing just sort of like comedic sort of bits, sort of creating memes and just these kind of comedy skits, which did well for me to a certain extent, and I got a bit of a following from that. But it was only until recently where I sort of I had this weird moment. It was throughout lockdown, and I was in Mallorca, and I was kind of bored on not bored, but sort of just evaluating new ideas and thinking what to do. And I just sort of dive back into sort of what I did on YouTube, was make these very well edited deep stories and things like that. I'm getting a message here that says my internet connection is unstable. Are we still good?
You're okay. You're okay. Every now and again it buffers, but we're all right. We're okay.
Okay. So I started telling these. I was like, okay, maybe I should try this and start doing these sort of voiceover, more edited sort of story time videos on TikTok. And I basically started telling a story, which is, I mean, I kind of condense, when you tell a story, you do something that I focused on the entertainment element, but it was a very true story about sort of how I came over to Mallorca during lockdown and had to like secure my residency and all these other things, and just a bunch of other adventures that have happened in my life. There was just over a year ago, I basically got scammed into losing over £1,000, and the banks in Spain weren't very helpful in helping me get it back. And I hit a dead end, and I sort of had this realization that I was like, okay, well, no one's going to help me. I'm going to have to do this myself. And long story short, I managed to track down these scammers all the way to like Dublin, and I managed to get my money back. And, with the help of and I managed to get my money back, and I turned that into a TikTok. And then I just decided to talk about my life and knowledge I have, because I've done, like I said, like I moved to Mallorca on my own accord, and for the first year or so, I was living with a sort of family friend, and he sort of taught me Spanish and this, that, and the other, as well as like going to school. But then since then, I've been flying back and forth a lot to the UK for other things. Like I've done some work as an actor and whatnot. And yeah, I just decided to tell these stories and these things that I've had to learn through life, basically just becoming an adult, things about credit cards, things about rent, debt, all these things. And yeah, it just got a lot of traction. And I went through this period of about 400,000 views. I was pulling in about, I say 10 to 12 million views a month, which was insane. So yeah.
So for anybody out there that's, wants to improve their followers, likes, whatever it is, what advice would you give to someone? How would they go about it?
I'd say, firstly, do something you enjoy doing, because otherwise you won't put 110% into it. So that's the first thing. I mean, people are very different. I know people that are happy to do whatever's working in terms of getting followers or the trend at the time. But me personally, I can't stick to that. I'll just do what I like to do. So I'd advise, be sure you really want to do it. There's a good side and a bad side to being an influencer, and in terms of wanting it for the wrong reasons, like I guess exposure and money and all of these sort of things. But I say make sure your heart's really in it. Firstly, I take inspiration from other people. It's such a game to play, and there's a lot of learning involved. It's a skill like anything else. Like when it comes down to it, even though it may look like I just make funny videos for a living, realistically, it's marketing is what it is. That's all it is. It's advertising and marketing at the end of the day. It's knowing how to pull in an audience. It's knowing how long they'll watch for before clicking off. Because these are all the things that affect a video potentially going viral or getting more views, because obviously TikTok will filter what's a good video and what isn't, and it will judge that based on the data it receives from the people watching it. So it's all about understanding the mind of the viewer and developing and learning what works and what doesn't. So I just say it's something to stick at, put research into, but it can take a while. I say definitely don't give up. I mean, to be honest, I've been quite lucky in the sense that I've been doing TikTok for a year, but it's only been in the last 4 or 5 months that I've had this sort of major explosion to go up to the amount of followers to where I am now. But then again, I was doing YouTube for 5 years and not getting anywhere. I have about 1,000 followers on YouTube, but it was all of those videos. I made about over 200 videos in that 5 years, doing like one a week or so. It's all that knowledge and it's all that practice which made me able to go straight into TikTok and know what I was doing. So I just say, don't give up, network, and just work hard for what you want.
Great. So let's move on from what you've been doing as an individual to something that you've got involved in, which is something called the Jet House. Yeah. Could you explain to me what is the Jet House, how it all works? How did you get involved in it? It sounds a very interesting project, and it's something that I think is quite new to Europe or quite new to Spain and the UK maybe. Yeah.
So basically, so in New York, I had a friend called Nick, and he worked as a rep and all of that, and he was a good friend of mine. And him and his friend Charlie, they came up with this idea. Funnily enough, it's an idea that it had come to my mind before, but I didn't have the facilities to do it, which was to basically set up a house where a group of social media influencers could live and all collaborate with each other and work to grow their personal brands and also grow this business to then make an income and just build this creative environment. It's for like, no one's ever done it in Spain before. No one's really done it in Europe outside of the UK. It is a thing that already exists in America. So that's sort of where my idea was fueled from. I'm not going to take credit for this was done years ago by someone who you may know or may have heard of, called Jake Paul.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, my sons love Jake Paul. That's the name that the dad gets told about all the time.
Yeah, he basically created this team called Team 10 back in I think like 2016, 2017. Very different from what we're doing, but the sort of the foundation was sort of there, that idea that you can bring people together. But anyway, I was friends with Nick, and he came to me one day and he asked to meet up with me in Magaluf, and he sat me down. He basically told me this idea that he had, and I had a lot of questions about it, and I was like, okay, well, when it comes to business, I'm quite boring. Like, I always ask the boring questions. I was like, oh, okay, so what are you going to do about, because the idea was to fly a bunch of UK influencers over to Spain to build this house. I was like, okay, what are you going to do about residency? What are you going to do about this and that? And he didn't really have the answers at the time. So then he originally invited me to be part of the house, but after our conversation, I think he saw some sort of value in me, so decided to bring me on as a business partner, me, him, and Charlie. And together we built this house. We originally wanted it in Mallorca because that's where we were based, and I think Mallorca is such a cosmopolitan island. Like, it's like the international hub. Especially for Europe, if not the world, for a lot of different nationalities, it brings people together. So we're thinking of having it there, but we found this property here on the mainland, this 10-bedroom property. We have a swimming pool, we have a bar, we have a pool table, ping pong table. We have everything. Where I am right now in my bedroom is actually an apartment block separate from the main house. So like, it's absolutely insane. And we got a very good deal on that under certain circumstances. So we decided to move it over to the mainland. But yeah, so it was done very quickly. It was done within about a month. We're the type of people who, once we set our mind to something, there's no excuse to be lazy about it and not get it done. We didn't have anything else going on. We didn't have any other commitments. So it was very quick to register a company, do this, do that, get on the phone, start scouting people, do all the legal and all the business stuff that had to be done until we're sitting here right now, and it's working. It's clockwork. So yeah, kind of crazy to say it out loud.
So how did you get the people? Where did you audition the people? How did the other people come? So now, is there around about, I don't know, is there 10 of you, something like that?
Yeah. There's around 10 of us. Some we are chopping and changing some people because this is still a new project. So we did originally have 10. I think we've now got 8 at the moment because 2 people decided it wasn't for them, decided to leave. So we're currently scouting some more people and trying to do some other things. But the way we sort of did it, we did a lot of sort of back-end scouting through the network of influencers. So when I say I personally didn't have the tools to do this myself in the past, it's because Nick and Charlie, they have, Nick's got 2 million followers and Charlie has just over 1 million. So they were already a lot more well-known in the community than I was at the time. And just frankly had more financial backing and contacts to pull this together. But yeah, we collectively sort of started looking through TikTok, started looking through the big names, getting suggestions from friends and whatever. And we were just suggesting people to each other. We were like, oh, what about this girl? What about this guy? But it was complicated. It was hard to do because you wouldn't believe how many commitments people have. You know what I mean? It's like you're asking someone to come out to live in Spain and do this. Some people have boyfriends. Some people have university, college, something else going on. They don't want to leave their dog. It's crazy. So I think we auditioned. We did do auditions as well. We did a public audition, but to be honest, we'd already sort of scouted the majority of who was going to be in the house. We more or less did that for a publicity side of things, but we were looking for the last 3 people through the auditions. But a lot was taken into account with it. We wanted people with high followings just because it's an easy, in terms of business, it's easier to get things rolling and generating income that way. But there were some people who have smaller followings who we saw quote unquote potential in and this, that and the other. So our selection process, people were chosen for a reason is what I can say.
So these things are not set in stone then. I mean, you 3 guys are the people that are there constantly. The others, well, it's not like the Big Brother house or something like that, is it? People aren't going to get outvoted, are they, out by the public or something like that? Or no, is it going to work?
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is certain, obviously, non-disclosures about certain things, but we as much fun as it is a business, so there are sort of contracts in place and whatnot, and stuff like that. There are certain agreements and things like that, and it's just no, people don't get outed, but obviously if we feel like it's not in your or our best interest to have you in the house for whatever reason, maybe it's not working, or a variety of things.
I understand.
Other people go on and we just get new people in, but the idea people, I think the goal here is to find that perfect set of people, that perfect 10 as such, that will go on the long run together. And obviously we tried it originally, but I think we knew that it was going to take some time, but but it's all going well. Each person has great things to say about it. It all grows house, and it's just a fun environment regardless of who's here.
You basically, what you do is you do your own individual stuff within the house, but you also do quite a lot together, don't you?
Sorry, say that again. You just broke up on me there.
Sorry, what I was saying was that you do individual stuff, but you do a lot of stuff together as well, don't you?
Yeah. So we all collectively are building our sort of personal brands. We're all making at least about 3 TikToks a day for our own accounts. But in terms of the Jet House, we have a YouTube channel, we have a TikTok account. So we're making, at the moment, it was 3 videos a day for the Jet House account. Now we're doing 1 that takes a lot more effort and time in editing. We're doing more of a quality over quantity. For now, trialing that for a bit. But yeah, we have set things in stone. Like every morning we have a meeting at 11 a.m. where we discuss anything that's going on for the day, anything that needs to be changed, any new sort of house rules that need to be implicated, and things like that, so everyone can progress together in the best way possible. But yeah, we have certain things. It's like, right, at 4 o'clock, we're going to take an Instagram photo so everyone get dressed up nicely. Or at this time, we're going to do a team YouTube video in which we'll take an hour out to do some last to fall off the pool inflatable, wins £1,000 and like all this kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's a mix of the brand and then the Jet House brand and personal brand growth.
Right. So Jet House is on TikTok, on YouTube, Instagram.
Yep.
But you haven't bothered with Facebook or Twitter, have you?
No, we haven't. No.
For
We're on the three main platforms. It's just the others. It's just not worthwhile for us for the time being.
Okay. So listen, we've looked at all social media from its start, Facebook, as I say, in 2004, all the way through now to TikTok. So, in your opinion, what's coming next? What's the next big thing you think? Has it been thought about? Is there whispers going on? What's the next big thing for social media?
I know that people are constantly trying, and I know there's a lot of things being trialed. Everyone thought there was an app that came out recently called Byte, B-Y-T-E, which was made by the same guy that made an app called Vine back in the day. And everyone thought that was going to sort of be the next big thing, and then it didn't work out too much, and then it was like Musically was a bit like but then it turned into TikTok, and now it's huge. It's very hard to tell, but the philosophy we have is the next big thing is always around the corner, and it will come out of nowhere. What it will be is hard to say. I think personally there will be something that comes out which may sort of focus on the value of content, and what I mean by that is maybe a platform where you're only allowed to post once a day, or only like one post a day, or only follow one person a day, because then it's so much more genuine and it's so much more personal, in the sense that, if you're only allowed to like one person's post a day or only follow one person a day, then you've got to be very direct on who you follow. So I think a platform like that, with the sort of organic reach of TikTok, would blow people in terms of like influencers huge, because all of a sudden their audience, like I've got quite a big audience, but I'd say, in terms of engagement and stuff, it can vary. Sometimes it can only be 20% of the people actually do what I tell them to do if I ask them to go check out a brand or do something like that. If you obviously had a platform where all these people are having to think very hard about following you, you can imagine the engagement would probably be like 70 to 90%. So yeah, but all I can say is the next big thing is probably right around the corner, and I don't think anyone really knows what it's going to be. But I know there's a lot of competition at the moment to get the next big thing, and there's a lot of things being trialed.
So people want to follow you and your individual stuff. Just tell everybody how they can get hold of you.
Yeah, so for me, my username is Ben _ internet, the little underscore line.
Mm-hmm.
If you just look up Ben Internet, even in Google, if you type in the word Ben Internet, my TikTok will come up. My name, Ben Matthew Saunders, it will come up with some other things. You can read some of the recent Jet House newspaper articles and stuff like that. But yeah, that's me, Ben Saunders, Ben Internet.
And then for the Jet House, it's just the Jet House, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just at the Jet House on Instagram, at the Jet House on TikTok. Feel free to Google it as well. Read up on some of the press releases and stuff like that. Same as the YouTube, just the Jet House.
Brilliant, Ben. It's been really, really interesting. You've obviously it's not difficult to enlighten somebody who has absolutely no idea. I might even get more than 5 likes on my latest Facebook post if I'm lucky. After talking to you, but it's fascinating. And as I say, I have had a really good look today of all the stuff you're doing. It's fascinating. And I know, for the kids, obviously this is what they're looking at now. They're not looking at TV like how I grew up. It is YouTube, it is TikTok, it is Instagram. That's how things are going. And it's fascinating to see. So thanks for your time, and hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Okay, you're very welcome.